And this is what the youth vote sounds like. A diverse group made up of more than 48 million eligible voters who are more engaged now than ever before.
I'm from Tyler, Texas. We've got a really strong community base here.
We're going to do our due diligence.
Really happy you guys were doing this.
Well, thank you. It
Trump all the way, Republican all the way.
I love that we've got some rolling hills and it doesn't take much to get out into nature.
I was like, I'm gonna come by. So I'm eating a flat. I feel like this is very East Texas to me.
A lot of pride here.
A lot of pride, and people aren't afraid to show their pride.
Re-elect Donald Trump 2020!
26-year-old Lauren Etheridge is clear on who she supports.
They talk about the silent majority. They sit there and say, you know, Trump doesn't have a chance and he's obviously not gonna win. But then I go to events like this and it is very energizing.
Trump 2020!
It's awesome.
1,500 miles away in Harlem, New York.
So what I usually get here is pretty simple. Mac and cheese.
You feeling like mac and cheese today? Okay, all right.
21-year-old Ramon Contreras has a different experience.
I grew up in public housing, raised by a single mother who immigrated to this country from the Dominican Republic. And she raised me and my 3 sisters alone.
This is where you grew up?
Yeah.
In a few days, he plans to vote here at his neighborhood community center.
Yeah, I used to come here every day after school.
And you're gonna be casting your first presidential vote on November 3rd.
Yeah, for Joe Biden.
Ramon and Lauren represent the diversity within young voters that could be the tipping point for this year's election.
I hope a day never comes where I do have to actually use my gun, but I do want to make sure that if that moment comes, I'm prepared for it.
For Lauren, guns mean security.
I did not grow up in a home that lent itself to a nurturing environment for a child. I do feel it's important for me as a young female to be able to protect myself.
Issues that matter to me the most, gun violence, which is the reason that I'm involved in activism and getting out the vote. I saw gun violence, you know, from an up-close perspective, hearing gunshots before I go to bed some nights.
I want to ensure that every Black and brown student has a platform to use their voice and demand the change we need.
After his friend was shot and killed, Ramon led a march carrying a casket to symbolize the thousands of young lives lost to gun violence every year.
There's a lot of different ways in which young people especially see the future of our nation. And then I think millennials and Gen Z especially, they care about affordable health care, gun violence and racial injustice. They care about economic inequality. These are all issues that I think young people are on the forefront of.
Headcount.org, good to vote.
Kellen Edmondson works for the nonpartisan group Headcount.
It's up to us.
Let's vote. Let's change the world together.
Just do it, people.
It's organizations like this that are focused on increasing turnout, especially among the youth.
There are some who will look at this group, young people, and go, oh, they don't vote. What is your response to that?
Young people do vote, and young people bring a passion and a confidence to certain issues that I think is very unique.
I feel like we're very polarized as voters right now. I want us to come together and realize that we can have a difference of opinion and still find solutions.
How do you think President Trump has brought the country together?
While I feel he has a unique way of speaking, he has been, in my opinion, open to all demographics. I feel as though he's been able to bridge the gap.
I think Joe Biden would take a more humane and real approach to these issues. When Trump says, let's make our country great again, and he shouts all these racial slurs, that's not what makes our country great.
In 2018, young voters came out in record numbers. What happens next is up to them.
If young people decided to get involved and realize sooner that their vote does count and does make a difference, they're gonna make an impact on any election.
We've protested, we've marched, we've put ourselves in danger. Now let's make sure that we vote and create that government that can really bring to life the country that we want to grow up in.
It's been said time and again that every vote counts. We only have to go back 4 years when fewer than 80,000 votes over 3 states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, swung the election to Donald Trump. 80,000 out of 137 million cast throughout the country. Or go back 20 years ago when George W. Bush won Florida and thus the election by just 537 votes. Something to remember as the American people decide the next president. Election Day is just 4 days away. If you haven't already done so, please vote. Thank you for watching. For all of us at CBS News, I'm Norah O'Donnell.